collection is a group of sites and measurements that you wish to analyse as a single entity. Let's have a look at a collection in Hilltop Hydro. Let's use the graph over time process, and we want to analyse a collection, so we click collection. But it looks like we don't have any collections, so we'd better make one. To do this, we right click in our rather desolate tree control window, select new, and we don't have a project file loaded either. At this point, we'd better talk about projects. A project is simply a collection of collections. The idea is that you create a new project for each project you're working on. You can have as many projects as you like, and however many collections stored in each project. I'm going to open an existing project, select my project, and here we are in the collection editor. The collection editor must have a data file available so that you can select sites and measurements, but once a collection is built, it doesn't require the same data file, and you can use a collection on any data file you choose. So to build a collection, first give it a name, and then select the sites and measurements you want to have in the collection. You can drag and drop to change the order of your site and measurement pairs, and right-click to bring up this menu, which also gives you reorder options, and you can remove items from here too. You can make a temporary collection by clicking here, and this means that the collection will only be available in your current session. This is useful for quickly analysing a set of measurements without cluttering up your project files with collections that you won't need anymore. We save our collection, and now we can do our analyses. We click on our collection, all data, OK, and Hydro has drawn a graph of each measurement in our collection. To graph all the data together in one window, we go back to the graph command, click on the plot tab, and select all sites in one window. Click OK, and here is the data from our entire collection on one graph. Just like for single measurements, you can overplot collections. I'm using graph over time. I graph my flow collection. And now I want to overplot the stage data for each site. Yes, we did only have one collection, so stage is one I prepared earlier. I've gone back to graph over time. I select my stage collection, go to the plot tab, and this time select overplot on the same axis. And here are my graphs with stage as an overplot on flow for each site. Collections are used in Hilltop Manager too, and they are stored, created and edited the same way in Manager as they are in Hydro. I talked about regions and groups as ways to organise your data and taming the tree control, and collections are another method, but collections differ in that they are stored in separate files, which enables you to have a personalised view of your data. When we looked at using collections in Hydro, we created new collections, and here in Manager I'm going to use those collections again. So first I need to load the project file from the project menu. You can also create a new project here, or edit the contents of an existing project. You can do this the same way in Hydro. I open my project file with the collections in it, and to work with the collections we've just loaded, we go to View, Collection Tree, and now we have a tree control with collections as the outermost branch level. Now you can do all the things you normally do in Manager with the convenience of having a personalised view of your data. Let's have a look at the collection editor in Manager. Click on the collection in the tree control to select it, right-click, Edit Collection. You'll see the editor is the same as in Hydro. There is a checkbox here that when selected tells Manager that the collection can be drawn on a single graph. We'll save our changes, and now we've been taken back to the project editor, as making changes to the collection also makes changes to the project, so we need to click Save here too, as we don't want to lose our changes at this point. Now if we have a look at our flow collection, there's now a little graph symbol in the icon which reflects the change we made, and clicking on the collection gives us a graph of all the items in the collection. Rather than building a collection like this one in the collection editor, it's easier to first graph the items we want, Let's go back to the site tree view. Make a graph of our first measurement and overplot all the other measurements we want in the collection. Then go to Project, Graph, and save your collection here. Let's go back to the collection view, and here's our new collection. We've talked about collections as a list of site and measurement pairs, but this need not be the case. If we go back to the collection editor, we can build a matrix collection, and we do this under the Matrix Selector tab. A matrix collection is a list of sites and a separate list of measurements, and how it works is that when you analyze data in a matrix collection, the software will run through each measurement in the list and try and find sites in the list that have data. Its advantage lies in that you don't have to list every site and measurement combination in your collection. To build a matrix collection, first give your collection a name and then select your sites. You can choose directly from your list of sites or select all, which is handy too if you want most sites. Then you can right click and remove the ones you don't want. I'm going to remove them all so we can have a look at these other options for adding sites. You can select sites within a certain radius of a specified location, or select sites on the same river as a specified site. You'll need to have river numbers specified in the sites table for this feature to work. Or you can select sites in a given region. In the list, subregions are separated by arrows. I'm going to add all sites in the Anakina region and click Select. You can click the button here to add water quality parameters to a collection. You can have a matrix collection that has a list of measurements without any sites. This means the software will analyze all the sites that have the specified measurements. There's a little workaround to build one of these. Let's remove our sites and start afresh. First, select a site that has data for your measurement of interest. It doesn't matter which one, you just need to do this to populate the list of measurements. Then select your measurements, go back to your selected site, right-click and remove it. You also need to do this to use the Ask Later function. If you use this, the software will ask you for a site name before it starts an analysis. Another way of creating a collection is building one from an ESRI shapefile. Here, you use your GIS program to select a set of sites, maybe a catchment for example, and save them to a shapefile. Enter or browse for your shapefile here, and let Hilltop know which column in the shapefile has the site names in it. You can click Add Site Now to copy the site names directly into the collection, but it's more useful to tick this option to attach the shapefile for later use. That way Hilltop will refer to the file each time you use it, so you can edit the shapefile without having to then go and update your collection in Hilltop. Just remember to leave the shapefile in the same place so Hilltop can find it again.